Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. I'm very sorry about the delay. We had some issues with the Zoom account, but I appreciate your patience. So my name is Hadar Zaks, and I'm managing the Israeli side of KORIL-RDF, our amazing bilateral fund. My colleague Ina will share with you about it soon. We came here today on this exciting Foodtech webinar to fostering connections between innovative minds in Korea and Israel. Just one thing before we are starting, I would like to give a special thank to Adi Bentov, who was the one to think about this webinar, and thanks to her, we are here today. So let's start first with Ronit. Hi, Ronit, you're with us today. Let me share with you a bit about Ronit. She's leading the Foodtech sector, the Israel Innovation Authority, and she will share with us about the Foodtech ecosystem here in Israel. Please, Ronit, let me know if you want me to upload the
I have it.
Presentation. Okay.
Thank you, everyone, and happy to be here. So, as mentioned, I'm heading the Foodtech sector in the Israel Innovation Authority, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the scaling up of the Israeli Foodtech and how can we really collaborate between Korea and Israel in this field. So high tech is really the engine of the Israeli economy with over 9,000 people employed in high-tech companies, and over almost 50% of our export is coming from the high-tech industry as a whole. The Israel Innovation Authority is here to strengthen the competitiveness of the Israeli Innovation Hub worldwide, and we directly invest in startups in groundbreaking high-risk technologies in order to really foster the deep technologies that we can apply and create. We look at emerging technologies, and we look at applied research and labs and talents and foster those to really acknowledge and understand what are some of the emerging sectors that need to be defined. Food tech is definitely one of our national priorities. We'll see that in a minute. And we also, as an agency of the government, we also help to cooperate with the different government ministries to remove growth barriers for all of those sectors that we're leading. So why food tech in Israel? We've been looking at food tech for quite a few years now, and we're identifying some key attributes in Israel that are very relevant in food tech. We have a very wide multidisciplinary research, both in biotechnology, agriculture, and food technologies that are helping to foster some new innovations. The ecosystem in Israel is an entrepreneurial ecosystem, and we are continuously growing the number of startups and risk-taking ideas that are evolving here. And we do have some proven track records worldwide in agriculture and biotechnology that are in the basis of what we would like to consider some of the more emerging multidisciplinary researches in food tech. And also to see that in reality, we are second only to the US in absolute global investments that are coming into the alternative proteins sector in multi-years already, and it's growing, and we're practically holding over 20% of global investment in specifically alternative proteins, which is a highlight for us. So Foodtech was already poised as one of Israel's national priorities, with a lot of work being done in the academy. And I talked about the investments, but it's really important to talk about our incubators. We've got two great incubators that are working specifically on food tech, the Kitchen by Strauss and Fresh Start, but also other incubators in Israel working on biotechnology, agriculture, and other fields are also creating new innovations in the realm of Foodtech. And the Israel Innovation Authority is helping to fund those incubators and to fund all the journey that companies take from startup into a growth company with over $100 million already put in place only for Foodtech. And that creates over 200 Foodtech startups in Israel and about 70 startups specifically in alternative proteins today. We also really enjoy great partnership with the Ministry of Health on the regulation aspects of food technologies. We consider this one of the major leverages for applying food technologies in Israel. And we're proud that just last week, Aleph Farms was successfully received the Israeli government regulation for the first of its kind worldwide cultivated beef. So this is a true success story for us. And of course, Remilk, which already got the approval in the past year and secured the regulatory non-animal milk protein first of its kind to be marketed in Israel. Lastly, we were working on Foodtech infrastructure, and this is led by the Innovation Authority, either by the Cultivated Meat Consortium or the specific infrastructure, R&D infrastructure like YD Labs that creates the infrastructure for pilot and scale-up in fermentation, and Allergene that works on unlocking the power of synthetic biology as an R&D infrastructure that inhibits different startups and creates a facility where a lot of the testing and trials can be worked at. So what's next, or where do we think we're going in Israel? So our vision is to build Israel as a Foodtech innovation hub that produces for local and regional use as a manufacturing facility for local and regional use, and driving humanity's food security and net zero goals in the realm of Foodtech. So thank you, everyone. Happy to be here. And may we have great collaborations between us all.
Thank you very much, Ronit. It was super interesting. I would like to continue with our next speakers from GFI APAC to share with us the Foodtech ecosystem in South Korea. So please welcome Valerie Peng, Innovation Associate at the Good Food Institute Asia Pacific, and Sam Lawrence, the VP Policy at GFI APAC.
All right. So hi, everyone. Hope you can see my screen. So I'm Valerie Peng. I'm the Innovation Associate of GFI APAC, and I'll be giving you an industry overview of the Korean alt protein sector, along with my colleagues Sam Lawrence and Manasa. So if you see here the market overview, the alt protein market in Korea, it's still in its early stages right now. It currently represents 1% of the total meat market that is consumed in Korea. Sales of plant-based meat have been growing at a rate of about 15% per year and are expected to hit over USD 1.5 billion by 2025. Korea's economy is quite strongly export-oriented, and the alt protein industry is also seen as a way to create new valuable exports for South Korea, and this is helping to spur the direction of a strong domestic industry and the creation of the alt protein market. Although compared to Israel, I would say Korea is still in the more early stages as of now. So in terms of investment, all-time APAC private investment so far has surpassed $1 billion. It has an 8% share of the all-time private sector investments. So where does Korea fit into this? So if you see this chart over here, South Korea is basically in the APAC region, the fourth biggest country that has invested into alt proteins. You can see that it is split across mainly in the plant-based space and in the cultivated space, with a little bit of investments in the fermentation space as well. So in total, there was an investment of 132 million, and this was in 2022. So this is the South Korean alt protein ecosystem. It's not exhaustive. We haven't captured everyone yet, but you can see here that there are various government organizations, different ministries that are involved in the alt protein sector. On the academic side, there are also many different universities that are engaging in research in alternative proteins. And then there are a few associations like the Korean Society for Cellular Agriculture and the Korean Cell Culture Meat Research Association. In terms of the startup landscape, there are quite a number of companies in the cultivated meat and plant-based meat space. And there are also large companies involved in the alt protein sector. Okay, in this slide, you see here, we're showing kind of what are some of the top funded Korean alt protein startups so far. So it's a range of mainly investments into the plant-based meat and cultivated meat space. So some of the top few companies that have been invested in include Unlimit, Altis, Cell Meat, and Dana Green. Okay, and then there are also chaebols that are involved in the alt protein sector. So chaebols are basically like the large family-owned like conglomerates in South Korea that have a really big kind of market size. And this includes companies such as SK, LG, Hanwha, CJ, Lotte, Shinsegae, Mel Diaries, and Daesung. So with that, I'll pass the time over to Sam Lawrence, who's our VP of Policy, to share about the government support.
Thanks, Valerie, and it's lovely to join you all this evening from Australia, and good morning. GFI commissioned a mapping and market analysis delivered in March 2023, which is what the following few slides will be based on. The Korean government has been undertaking a consultation process, as you can see on the slide on the screen, with industry over the course of several years. The latest round of consultations closed just last month in December, covering the content of Korea's draft standards for cellular agriculture. GFI sent in a submission, and I'm very grateful to our friends and colleagues in Korea who helped in its preparation. We're awaiting now to hear the timeline for the next steps. There's no set date yet for an announcement. Next slide, please. Over recent years, Korea has invested the equivalent of tens of millions of US dollars in funding for alternative protein R&D. Generous grants are being given out by a variety of government agencies, including the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Food and Drug Safety, and the Ministry of Science and ICT, and the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy, and others for the purposes of establishing technology and knowledge. Future R&D funding depends mostly on the direction and timeline of regulations. Several experts in Korea have told us that once the government provides a clear direction, chaebols, those large conglomerates that Valerie mentioned just before, are expected to pour millions of additional dollars into the development of relevant technologies and the industry overall. The category that you can see there on the screen, called alternative meat, is a catch-all category for where it's uncertain whether the grants were focused on plant-based, cultivated, fermentation, or a combination of the above. We don't yet have figures for 2023. Next slide, please. Broadly, R&D funding has approximately doubled in Korea each year since 2018, albeit from a very low base. Figures here are in US dollars. The research drew on publicly available information, so there may be more unpublicized grants that we're unaware of. As per the previous slide, the category you see there called alternative proteins is a catch-all category. Again, we don't yet have figures for 2023. Some of the larger grants include the $35 million Alchemist program run by the Ministry of Commerce that was awarded to a consortium led by the Seoul National University and SpaceF and spanned over 5 years. There are also several recipients at Yeongnam University associated with its Research Institute for Cell Culture, receiving around $8 million over 9 years. Those are just two of many examples. With that, I'll hand over to Dr. Manasa Ravikumar for an overview of the research ecosystem.
Thank you very much, Sam, and hello to everyone tuning in. Over the next few minutes, I would like to briefly highlight how South Korea is growing as a hotspot for alternative protein R&D and innovation, and also give you a bit of an overview about some key developments and players who are facilitating this growth. Next slide, please. In APAC, we're seeing the emergence of research hubs that are advancing foundational research across all of the different alternative protein pillars. The numbers that you see on the right-hand side of the slide for each country indicates the number of alternative protein-related research publications since the year 2020, which now totals to over 400 just within APAC. Notably, South Korea is in the top 3 for the number of publications for cultivated meat research, coming in after Japan and Singapore, with Korea University leading in the number of active alternative protein research projects. We're also seeing a considerable number of publications in the plant-based research space in Korea, with room to grow in the fermentation space in the years to come. Next slide, please. In addition to Korea University, a number of other top universities are now actively involved in the alt protein research space, as you can see here in the table. Importantly, we're seeing many of these universities engage in strategic public-private partnerships to boost innovation and tackle some of the most pressing high-impact research questions. One such example is the ongoing partnership between Daesung, Lotte, SpaceF, Seoul National University, Sejong University, and Korea Institute of Toxicology, as you can see in the illustration at the bottom of the slide. Next slide, please. Apart from public-private partnerships, we're also seeing many corporate partnerships, especially between startups and established companies or chaebols, as my colleagues have highlighted earlier, gaining momentum in Korea. And some examples are presented here specifically for the cultivated meat space. In the interest of time, I won't be going into these in detail, but the main takeaway is that these partnerships are really key to driving innovation and challenging those industry bottlenecks across diverse areas of research like culture media development, the development of hybrid products, and other novel product formulations as examples. With that, I'd like to hand it over back to Sam.
Thank you, Manasa. So over the last year and a half, GFI has been increasing its engagement in and understanding of Korea as a market. We've attended several conferences and undertaking a mapping exercise, including some of the data that's been in the presentation today. I'm pleased to say that GFI plans to expand into South Korea this year, 2024, and we're at the start of the planning phase for that expansion now. Next slide, please. To complement these expansion plans, we've begun to translate a number of publications into Korean, including our State of the Industry report, our State of Global Policy report, and the APEC State of Industry report, plus many others. These are all available online, and the link will be included in the email that follows this presentation. On that point, back to Valerie.
So this is, we've come to the end of GFI APEC's presentation. We want to share that we are working together with GFI Israel to help assist in matchmaking Korean and Israel startups together. So if you scan this QR code here, you can fill out a form to put in information about your company. And that way, when we have enough submissions, we're going to share this database with all the companies, so you can kind of just look at what you're looking for and find a relevant partner for yourself and reach out to them. So just scan this QR code. And with that, we are done with our presentation, and we'll hand it back over to the organizer.
Thank you very much to GFI APAC team. Let's skip to our next amazing speaker, which is my great colleague, Ina Choi from KORIL-RDF. Ina, the stage is yours.
Hi, my name is Ina Choi from Korea-Israel Industrial R&D Foundation. In short, we call it KORIL. KORIL is managing the bilateral R&D fund between Korea and Israeli governments. And it's an honor to introduce you about our foundation. So as a start, I will briefly touch on a few key points on where Korea and Israel cooperation stands, and then move on to our foundation information. Let's take a look at Korea first. Korea is known as a global manufacturer and innovator. According to UNIDO, Korea ranks 5th in the world in the competitive industrial performance, and according to Bloomberg, Korea ranks 1st in the world in the innovative capacity categories. Based on its manufacturing competency, Korea's export has been growing despite the COVID pandemic, and Korea's the number of products with the highest market share in the world. Korea reached 77, which is including semiconductor and shipbuilding and display. On the other hand, Israel is focusing on technology innovation as it has the world's highest R&D expenditure to GDP, which is over 5%. I'm sorry, it's a little bit outdated. But as you can see, actually the South Korea is number 2 in the world. So we can understand how much two countries are focusing on technology innovation for national economic growth. And back to the Israel, based on its innovative technology capabilities, almost half of Israeli exports come from high-tech industries. And it is remarkable that Israel is ranked 3rd after the USA and China in terms of the number of companies listed on NASDAQ. You may know that there are global top-tier research institutes such as Technion, Weizmann, and Hebrew University are pioneering technology innovation in Israel. Let's take a look about our foundation now. KORIL is a binational foundation created by the Korean and the Israeli governments. The foundation's mission is to promote and support technological collaboration in innovative R&D between Korean and Israeli companies. The foundation was established based on the bilateral treaty, which signed in 1999. Since its establishment in 2001, KORIL has served as a single window for wide cooperation between two countries. The accumulated fund size in 2 decades is now $85 million, and we have supported over 200 R&D projects between Korean and Israeli companies. Now I will talk about the types and procedure of our funding program. The foundation supports a total of 4 types of projects as shown in the table. The first is a feasibility study project. This project is for studying about technical feasibility and related market survey before going into the real R&D. KORIL supports feasibility study project in $50,000 for up to 6 months. The second one is an R&D program, which is jointly developed by companies from both countries. KORIL support is up to $3 million in 2 years for developing new technology or products aimed at commercialization, and it is subject to all sectors except defense. And the third one is pilot project, which is designed to support the demonstration of existing technologies. It is with a $1 million grant for up to 1 year. And the last one is a Lighthouse program, which was launched just 2 years ago. As I told you before, the 3 existing tracks I mentioned before are subject to all industry except defense. And it is a 1+1 company consortium, which means 1 Korean company and 1 Israeli company. On the other hand, for Lighthouse, KORIL annually selects a specific sector to support. and the consortium must include one company and one academia from each country. So that means at least 4 entities for the consortium. Last year, the lighthouse sector was smart mobility. And this year, we are planning to add a semiconductor as a strategic sector for lighthouse. Lighthouse support scale is 5 billion for up to 3 years. As I mentioned before, R&D and pilot project consortium should be one entity from each country. And if the project is approved by KORIL, 2 companies must sign an IP and commercialization agreement. KORIL will not give financial support to the project unless there is a binding contract between the companies. Now is lighthouse. Each consortium can be organized by 2 or 3 from each country. Each side must have one company and one academia. In lighthouse, companies also need to sign the binding contract about the IP rights. Now I'd like to introduce about the evaluation process for the R&D and pilot. The call for proposals for this program open twice a year. And the upcoming call is about to open at the end of this month. The first call opens in January and closes in April. The second call starts in June and proposals should be submitted in August. All proposals submitted are subject to a documentary review by KORIL, and then there will be an on-site evaluation by 1 or 2 technical experts. Finally, KORIL board will select the final approved proposals based on technical experts' opinions, which will take in July and December. For the lighthouse, the application process takes in 2 steps. First, a consortium submits an expression of interest, which is EOI. Upon the approval for this EOI, the consortium can submit the final proposals. If the final proposal is submitted, it is also through the documentary review and also on-site interview. And the final approval is issued by KORIL board in December. Besides the R&D funding program, KORIL hosting the annual Korea and Israel Innovation Day annually. Last year, KORIL organized this event with a focus on smart mobility. It took place in Tel Aviv, and representatives from 41 Korean industrial companies visited in Israel and participated in our event. During the event, there were technology seminars and by leading innovators, and totally 152 B2B meetings was organized between the Korean and Israeli companies. For this year, it is planned to have this event in Seoul, maybe in May. This time, Israeli company will come visit in Korea, and then we will have a seminar in maybe 2nd or 3rd week of May. KORIL will announce the exact schedule officially in February. So this is the whole picture for this year. I think I talked about the schedule for this kind of program already, so I will skip this slide. And so that is all I have prepared for today. And lastly, I would like to share with you the contact points if you need more detailed guideline to participate in our program. Thank you.
Thank you, Ina. It was very informative. For all of you that might be interested to submit a proposal, you can see the link to KORIL-RDF website in the checkbox. Now, please welcome Dr. Michal Halpert to explore with us the white spaces that might give you some ideas for joint R&D collaboration. Michal, please.
Thank you. Hope you can see the slides okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so hi everybody. So in the following couple of minutes, I would like to present some of the technological and scientific white spaces and opportunities that might guide you with some of your proposals, ideas, and collaborations. I will just start with emphasizing and reminding that when we're talking about alternative proteins, our main focus is on biomimicry. Meaning that when we are interested in developing, let's say, a plant-based burger, as you can see here in the slide, in the picture, we need to think how can we produce it so it tastes exactly as meat, look and smell like meat, and even have the same cooking experience. In order to reach this level of biomimicry, we are using and focusing on three main technologies: plant-based, fermentation, and cultivated meat. So each technology has lots of advantages, but also technological and scientific white spaces, which are waiting to be addressed, and we will touch some of them now. But before I begin, I just want to mention that although most of the examples in this really short presentation are on meat alternatives, the same goes to egg and dairy alternatives, of course. And second, although the space is called alternative proteins, we're definitely not focusing only on proteins, but all the ingredients that are important for reaching this biomimicry. So let's start with the plant-based, which is the most advanced technology. In this technology, we're starting with a plant raw material, which is very different from the final product that we are aiming to produce. And the big question is, how can we take this raw material and achieve taste and textures that mimic meat? There are three main top taste barriers that are reported for plant-based meat: moisture, flavor, and texture. When we're talking about moisture, for example, we need to think, how can we produce products that are not too dry and have this juiciness that is familiar with meat? Regarding flavor, how can we achieve the desired taste profile and in the same time get rid of all kinds of off flavors that are common with many plants? And texture, how can we open these plant proteins, which are usually closed globular proteins, and achieve this desired meat texture, as you can see also in the pictures. So the first thing that we can focus on is the raw material itself. One direction is to explore new materials that have interesting characterizations for the alternative protein space. This can include all kinds of different plants, also seaweed and algae. The second direction is to optimize the raw materials used today so they will better be suited for the alternative protein field. Most of the raw materials used today are based on soy, wheat, and pea plants, which have not been optimized for the alternative protein sector, but all kinds of other industries like the oil industry. So we can work on optimizing those plants, focusing on different attributes like the protein amount or plants without off flavors, for example. But we can also better optimize them to be more suitable for the production process itself. And in this way, we can produce better final products, but also reduce costs in the production process. Plant fat profiles are also very important ingredients for both for taste and mouthfeel, and more work is needed in order to transfer plant oils to obtain fat characteristics. One major step in the process is the texturization step, which is mainly based on using extruder machinery. Extrusion is the most common used technique for plant-based meat production due to its scalable texturization capabilities. However, it is difficult to elucidate how proteins will interact with themselves and other ingredients under various temperature, moisture, mechanical shear conditions, and many experiments and trial and error is needed. And there are plenty more room for innovative solutions that improve this process by improving its throughput capacity and provide innovative strategies to replicate meat texture. There is also more room to develop other texturization technologies, for example, shear cell technology and 3D printing. And the main focus here is to gain commercial production capabilities. Going on to cultivated meat. So here we are starting with a cell culture that we have originally obtained from animals. We grow those cell cultures in bioreactors to obtain enough biomass. There is a step of differentiation and tissue maturation until we finally produce the specific food product we're interested in. In this technology, cost and scale are the two main challenges that the industry is facing. Cell culture media is currently the largest cost and environmental impact driver of cultivated meat production. To overcome this challenge, work is being performed in order to source lower cost ingredients, for example, by producing recombinant growth factors or find other ingredients with similar functionalities. On the other hand, it is also important to explore how we can use fewer ingredients in the first place. And here we focus on the optimization of feedstock formulation and feed conversion ratio. Other interesting direction in the alternative protein space, in the cultivated meat, is the development of biomaterials for edible scaffolding and the incorporation of growth factors into scaffolds to reduce costs. In addition, the development of bioreactors that can support high density, large volume cell cultures are also needed. And the last technology is fermentation. And in fermentation, we are talking about the cultivation of microbial organisms to produce food products. We can either do it by obtaining large quantities of biomass, which serves as our raw ingredient, or we can use microbial cell hosts as cell factories to produce specific functional ingredients. And there are two main white spaces that I would like to highlight in this technology. The first one is target molecule and organism selection. All procedures have to start at this stage and to fit the desired function or set of criteria to the final desired product. In the target molecule, there is a growing focus, as I mentioned before, on animal-like fats, which is very important for achieving this biomimicry. And we can address animal-like fats in the fermentation technology also. Other ingredients of interest range from low volume, high value ingredients like all kinds of flavorings, enzymes, or functional additives. Feedstock optimization is also growing as many alt protein fermentation applications demand greater scale and lower cost than prior industries, and therefore unconventional and more crude feedstock will become essential. Companies with extensive commodities access and large-scale raw material processing infrastructure are uniquely suited to meet this need and can leverage parallel growth in demands for plant protein and plant starch. For more information regarding each of the technology, the white spaces, and possible solutions, I recommend to take a look at these three resources. And of course, you're more than welcome to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Halpert, for the fascinating inputs. I believe that our audience got some innovative ideas. So our last speaker for today is Ms. Lily Koo, Director of Business Development at the Israel Economic and Trade Office in South Korea. Let's hear about her mission a bit more. Lily.
Thank you. Hello, this is Lily Koo from Israel Economic and Trade Office in Seoul, Korea. Very nice to meet you. The Israel Economic and Trade Office, or IATO, is representing Israel Ministry of Economy and Industry in Korea. And in our office, we have 4 trade officers, including myself, working together with Ms. Tamar Kosher-Maron, the head and the commercial attaché of this office. We are a governmental body which exists to promote Israel companies, technologies, and products. And our ultimate goal is to increase business relations between Israel and Korea. Daily basis, we receive Israeli and Korean companies' inquiries. We support visit, conduct scouting projects, organize various events related to Israel technologies by sectors, also recruit delegations to visit Israel and Korea. For example, in Foodtech sector, we collaborated with the Israeli alternative protein company and hosted Korean companies in the field to have tasting event. And it was a great opportunity to introduce Israel's alternative meat technology to the Korean audience. Last year, we've conducted more than 120 events, webinars, and exhibitions, and over 620 B2B meetings were set by our team between Korean and Israeli companies during those events. We worked with more than 750 Korean companies and 450 Israeli companies last year. And 18 success deals were made in the sum of $15 million. We believe that there is much that Israel and Korean companies can cooperate, and we hope that we will overcome the obstacles and have more collaborations and success stories this year. If you need any assistance related Korea and Israel, or looking for partner or innovative technologies from Israel, please contact us and we will do our best to help you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily, for the valuable information. I have no doubt that you will receive many emails after the sessions. Okay. Yeah. Good luck with that. We still have a few minutes for Q&A. If you want, please feel free to send it to us in the Q&A box, where we will try to do our best to answer. And anyway, you have our contacts. Maybe we can wait a few minutes to see if we're receiving any questions, and if not, we'll close the webinar for today. Okay, so why don't we just read out loud the question, and some of you might be able to answer? Is that okay? Good. So Alex is asking if we're looking for partners in Korea. Yeah, and the question is? Okay, Alex, I might try to answer. I'm not sure I fully understand your question. So if you're an Israeli company who is looking for a partner in Korea, you have different options. You can either fill the form that GFI just presented us in the QR code. Good. You can reach out to KORIL-RDF, to our fund, and we will try to help you to find a partner. Please contact me and I will send you the specific form that we are using in the fund. And of course, Lily is here, and I'm sure that she will be able to help you. And the opposite is the same. If you're a Korean company that's looking for an Israeli company to collaborate with, then same options for you. You have GFI, the form that GFI just presented. You have KORIL-RDF, and I think, Lily, you will be able to help also for Korean companies.
Of course.
Okay. Perfect. The presentation, yes. So there is a question regarding the presentation here today. So we recorded the webinar session, and we will upload the whole record to the Israel Innovation Authority YouTube channel. This is for Ziv. Patrick is asking, yes, I think again about the presentation. Okay, there is a question regarding the submission for KORIL-RDF program. If it should be only one company or two. So let me clear it up for you. Both partners, both companies, one from Israel, one from Israel, must submit the same proposal at the same time during the period of the call for proposal when it's open. I hope I answered your question. It can be joint R&D and it can be also a pilot. Yes, there is a question about the agri-tech or smart farm supported. And yes, as Ina mentioned before, KORIL-RDF call for proposal is open to all sectors except of defense. So please feel free to reach out to us. Maybe one more question. There is a question to GFI. I'm not sure if I will be able to answer about the database with the Korean companies, if it's open for partnership that Israeli companies can explore.
Okay, I can answer the question. So
Okay.
we have a company data. On GFI Apex page, there is a company database that lists the Korean companies. But you will have to contact them to see if they want to partner with you. The other way is I showed the link to the form, the QR code. We can send an email. We are hoping that Korean companies will fill it up, and then we will then share that spreadsheet. So hopefully there's some Korean, some Israeli, and then you can see who wants to partner with each other. So that is my answer. The database on our website, but that one is just the general company database. And then this one is companies have indicated they're interested.
Thank you very much, Valerie. So maybe one last question, and then we will wrap up. Okay, so there is a question here regarding KORIL-RDF eligible companies to submit. So it's open to all companies. It can be startups, it can be growth companies. It doesn't matter for us. Okay, I must wrap up as we must keep up in the time. So we hope that the webinar was informative and insightful for you, and we learned about the ecosystem in both countries. We got some ideas for joint collaboration and optional source for funding, and other supports that we all can provide. Good, so we look forward to receiving your feedback and seeing your application in our next call for proposal that will be open in the next few weeks. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for joining us today. Have a good day. Goodbye. Thank you, everyone.